One thing I do when I'm modeling is I will, especially if I'm doing the conjugations, I will show them first how to go through each one. I have a sheet here, or I can just use the one that's built into the lesson. But I will go through and I will model how to put the verbs in, and then show them here that it's with the S, or if it's an irregular verb. And then to model, I will usually create my own sentence with the word, and then I'll ask them to create their own sentence. And I usually will do that using a whiteboard. So if I have the verb has, then I'll have them create their own sentence here, has, by first conjugating it with them. One thing I do with the present tense conjugations, just to kind of model it for them, is not only do I show them the actual chart, but I also hold up some props and we do it together at first to kind of practice. So I'll say, he runs, and then they do it, and I hold up she, and they fill in the blank with runs, and it runs. And then I can use the same ones to kind of show, you know, we, and then I do they, and then eventually they get to the point where they can just answer on their own without needing that much guidance.
Okay, so when modeling for students, there's a few things that I do, and I try to support them as often as I can through visuals, whether that be with the TPR or with some kind of actual prop. For example, in Level 3, Unit 8, we teach about the city and places in the city. So I always show my students a picture of my family and I at the zoo, and I model the past tense language. I saw a giraffe at the zoo. Then I ask them, what did you see at the zoo? This way I'm modeling that past tense verb and then using it for the purpose of student output to get them to use that same type of language when they are speaking back to me. I also just like to model by showing them and reminding them, you know, simple things like she comes, and I show them. I'm modeling the correct verb tense, the correct conjugation. They can give me an example back, and then I can switch to do it totally non-verbally to continue to support them, you know, while just showing them and supporting them with the visuals. So I try to support them orally. I try to support them visually. You know, through the use of TPR, you know, modeling a concept, you know, like bounce, showing them what that means, using that sentence as we say it, I bounce the ball, you show me, and then having them show me how to do that as well. I also think that typing language in the chat box is an underutilized way to model and support for your student. Sometimes they need to see what we are saying, and so if I say it and I model it for them, I also try to type it for them as well, so they can see it in the chat box, hear me say it, and then say it themselves. So modeling, but also supporting them as well through that. So when deciding whether or not to model a concept for a student, I usually start by assessing the student informally on the slide. So I typically will circle on the slide and, you know, ask them a question like, what do you see here? Can you read this? And kind of let them show me what they can do. And then based on that, that kind of gauges how much modeling I need to do for them. If they're struggling through a concept, you know, they might need a lot of support from me and a lot of modeling, going back and forth, repeating after me. You know, sometimes, you know, they will even repeat after me in some way by using, you know, a visual of some kind. But I find in Level 3 that the students are readers. They're more independent than those Level 2 students who I feel like rely on a lot more of the props for modeling. I feel like in Level 3, the students are more independent and require less modeling. Sometimes I feel like the modeling comes in more when I'm extending and challenging that student beyond what is there on the slide. So that is kind of when the visuals come in to support that engagement and that extension for them.
All right. What do we call these numbers?
The standard deviation.
Yes, these are standard.
Deviation.
Very good. What are these?
These are word forms.
Good. So what is this?
This is standard form.
Good. We will say this is the standard form of 7.
This is a standard form. 7.
Good. Hmm.
3 is a standard form.
This. Good. This is the standard form of 3.
This is standard form of 3.
Very good. All right, Sally, let's do a couple more. What is this? This is
This is standard form of 4.
good. The standard form.
Standard form.
Good. And what is this?
This is 3.
Which form?
The
This.
word form of 3.
Good. This is the.
Is a word form of 3.
Perfect, Sally. Great job. Here's your first star. And which flower would you like?
I like the pink flower.
Yes, very good.